All right, welcome everyone to tonight's meeting of the Clyde Sukeforth chapter of SABR. I am Bruce McClure, the chapter chair, and we always hold our meetings in conjunction with the Gardner Waterman chapter of SABR in Vermont, Dr. Clayton Truder, chair. Let's get right into it this evening. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, the Major League record for the lowest single-season ERA is an even 1 by Dutch Leonard of the 1914 Boston Red Sox. According to the most recent edition of the Sporting News Baseball Record and Fact Book, that record is 0.96 by Dutch Leonard. According to the information provided in various baseball encyclopedias, the record for the lowest single-season ERA is 0.86, achieved by Tim Keefe in 1880 with the Troy NL Club. That value is also currently shown on the Major League Baseball, Baseball Reference, and Retro Sheet websites. Keefe's .86 ERA was first reported in the first edition, the 1969, of Macmillan's Big Mac, the value having been determined by John Tattersall using his comprehensive box score collection. However, it has been demonstrated innumerable times the statistical information provided in Big Mac, especially for the 19th century stats, is fraught with errors. Thus, Keefe's 0.86 in 1880 is perhaps best considered to be an approximate value. Herm Krabbenhoft is a retired organic chemist and has been a SABR member since 1981. Among the various baseball research topics he has pioneered are ultimate Grand Slam homers, consecutive games on base safety streaks, Quasi-Cycles, Imperfect Perfectos, minor league day in, day out, Double-Duty Diamondeers, downtown Golden Sombreros. Oh my. Herm is the author of Leadoff Batters of Major League Baseball and has received a SABR Baseball Research Award 3 times. He is a lifetime Detroit Tigers fan and wants everyone to know the Tigers' Zeb Eaton hit a pinch grand slam against the New York Yankees on the day Herm was born. And he's here tonight with his presentation entitled Tim Keefe's 1880 ERA, a still standing single season Major League pitching record. Yes or no? Herm Krabbenhoft, welcome back to Northern New England. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much, Bruce. Great introduction. Wow. I hope I can live up to it.
I think you can. I'm stepping aside. It's all yours.
Okay. So are we ready to go now? Is that right? Are we?
You're it. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Now I don't know all the stuff that's there. Oh, great. So the work I'm going to describe this evening is work that I and 2 other collaborators did. Keith Blau, a SABR member and good friend, and also Gary Stone, another good friend of mine. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of this, let's go on to the next slide so I can thank some other people who've been very helpful to us in our research effort. Most importantly, Cassidy Lent of the Hall of Fame Library, and John Thorne, a real expert in 19th century baseball. Okay, the next chart shows a couple of pictures of Tim Keefe. The one on the left shows that he is a pitcher, a right-handed pitcher, and the one on the right shows that he is a batter, as a right-handed batter. The next chart shows another picture of Tim Keefe with what Jack Hand wrote for his AP column back in February of 1964 when Keefe was elected to the Hall of Fame. Jack Hand wrote, Keefe won 346 games and lost 225 from 1880 through 1893, pitching 42 victories for the New York Giants in 1886. In 1888, the right-hander, who was among the first to throw a change of pace ball, won 19 straight. Keefe died in 1933. The next chart has another picture and also what Dan Daniels wrote for the Sporting News a week or so later. Dan Daniels wrote, Keefe was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is where I happen to be right now, on January 1st, 1856, and died there on April 23rd, 1933 at age 77. He's buried just, I'd say, 1,000 feet from where I live. In the cemetery there. He won 342 games and lost 226 in the National League and the American Association. His most successful season for victories came in 1886 when he chalked up 42 wins. Keefe was especially deadly with the slow pitch, which he threw with his fastball motion, and Keefe won 19 consecutive games for the New York Giants in 1888 at the 50-foot pitching distance. And the next chart shows Keefe's Hall of Fame plaque. And if there's difficulty reading what's inscribed there, the next chart has what is written there. And it states, right-hander who won 346 games for Troy, Mets, Giants, and Phillies in only 14 seasons. His record streak of 19 straight wins paced Giants to pennant in 1888, one of the first pitchers to use a change of pace delivery. Now, this was written for his induction in 1960, the summer of 64. So that was 5 years before Big Mac was published. And if Keefe had been elected to the Hall of Fame after Big Mac had been published, the following would almost certainly have been on his Hall of Fame plaque. The next chart, please. His 1880 0.86 earned run average is the lowest in Major League history. Hold on a second. Let me just check this. What I want to say here. Earned run averages were first recorded in 1912 in the National League, in 1913 in the American League, and nobody had gone back to figure out what the earned run averages were for pre-1912 pitchers until David Neff led his team of ICI researchers in preparation for the publication of the Big Mac. So the 0.86 is from Big Mac, and as Bruce mentioned, I think we all know that it was a great source of information for us. But as has been shown innumerable times, there are many errors in the Big Mac, especially for 19th century statistics. So with that, it certainly is justifiable to go on to do some further research, and that's what the next chart does. It gives us our the objective here, which is to conduct the research to answer the key question: what is Keefe's accurate ERA for 1880? And whatever it is, where does it rank overall? And the research procedure that we followed was to examine each of the game accounts for each of Keefe's games in 1880. Now, before we get on to that, into his earned runs and earned run average, we have to really understand what the official rules were for earned run average in 1880. And the next chart shows them in detail. There were none, absolutely none, nada, zilch. That was the case in 1880, but box scores did contain for earned runs since the 1870s. The next chart shows an example of this. This is from the Boston's versus Mutuals game on September 22nd, 1872. And you can see the bottom line there. It says runs earned. Boston 6, Mutuals 1. So six of the Boston's 11 runs were earned, and only one of the 10 Mutuals runs was earned. And the importance of earned run average, or earned runs, and therefore the average, was stated in 1879 by Henry Chadwick, who said the only correct basis of a pitcher's skill is that of earned runs. So let's just take a moment to look at the origin of earned runs, and that's on the next chart. Henry Chadwick, introduced the record of runs earned 20-odd years ago, i.e. in the 1870s, simply as a test of pitching skill. And it was intended to apply only to runs solely earned by base hits and not by skillful base running and the fielding errors such running involves. This was Henry Chadwick's writing in the 1894 edition of Spalding's Baseball Guide. 20 years before that is 1870s. Okay, so there were no rules, no official rules for earned runs in 1880. What was there? The next chart gives us the situation. Earned runs were first included in the official rules in the Reach Guide in 1883 for the American Association. It was not until 4 years later in the Spalding Guide, 1887, that earned runs were included in the official rules for the National League. And the rules from 1883 through 1887 were the same and consisted of just 13 words. Quote, "The summary shall contain the number of earned runs made by each side." That's it. Those are the rules that were in effect beginning in 1883 for the American Association and 1887 for the National League. The rule did not give a definition of what earned runs are, what constitutes an earned run, and perhaps just as importantly, what makes a run not earned. This uncertainty was somewhat relieved the next year, as shown on the next chart. In the Spalding Guide for 1888, Rule 65 dealt specifically with earned runs. This is going to, for the next few charts, it's going to get maybe a little bit boring, but it's very important that we understand this completely, what earned runs are and how they were treated in the 19th century. So paragraph 7, an earned run shall be scored every time the player reaches home base unaided by errors before chances have been offered to retire the side. But bases on balls, though summarized as errors, shall be credited as factors in earned runs. And then errors are treated in paragraph 8. An error shall be given for each misplay, which allows the striker or base runner to make one or more bases when perfect play would have ensured his being put out, except that while pitches, bases on batsmen being hit by a pitch ball, or a case of illegal pitch balls, balks and pass balls shall not be included. And what this means is runs scored with the aid of wild pitches, bases on balls, hit batsmen, balks and pass balls were earned runs in 1888. Also 1889, because the rules did not change then. But in 1890, the rules changed significantly, as the next chart shows. The rules for 1890 and 1891, Rule 68, pretty much the same as what we've seen before. An earned run shall be scored every time the player reaches the home base unaided by errors. And then there's a parenthetical statement. I've shown it here in red, which states earned runs should be charged against the pitching only on the basis of base hits made off the pitching and should not include stolen bases or bases scored in any other way. And what this means is runs aided by anything else other than bases on base hits were not earned runs in 1890 and 1891. They changed again in 1892, as the next chart shows. From 1892 to 1896, the rules for earned runs were essentially the same as 1888 and 1889. They changed again for 1898, as shown on the next chart. 97, I mean. Paragraph 71, an earned run shall be scored every time the player reaches the home base by the aid of base hits only. So back in 1897, the rules went back to the 1890-91 rules. They changed the official rules for earned runs, changed again for 1898. From 1898 through 1916, earned runs were not mentioned at all in the official rules. Not at all. Now, beginning in 1912 for the National League and 1913 for the American League, not yet. They tabulated earned runs. They compiled earned runs, but there were no official rules guiding them to compile the earned runs. So who knows how they were compiled? But it's not known. In 1917, now we'll go to the next chart. The official rules did come out for earned runs again, and they are. I'm going to read this here. An earned run off the pitcher shall be scored every time a player reaches home base by the aid of safe hits, sacrifice hits, stolen bases, bases on balls, hit batsmen, wild pitches, and balks before fielding chances have been offered to retire the side. And then importantly, no run can be earned that scores as a result of the batsman having reached first base on a fielding error or a pass ball. So this is pretty much like it was for the 1888, 1889 rules, pretty much this. And these rules are pretty much the same even now. And the next chart gives the rules that are currently in effect for earned runs. An earned run is a run for which a pitcher is held accountable. That's important. It's the pitcher who is held accountable. And the next sentence is also very important. In determining earned runs, the official scorer shall reconstruct the inning without the errors and pass balls, giving the benefit of doubt always to the pitcher in determining which bases would have been reached by runners had there been errorless play. Paragraph A, the official scorer shall charge an earned run against a pitcher every time a runner reaches home base by the aid of safe hits, sacrifice bunts, a sacrifice fly, stolen bases, putouts, fielder's choices, bases on balls, hit batters, balks, or wild pitches before fielding chances have been offered to put out the offensive team. And then D, no run shall be earned when the scoring runner's advance has been aided by an error, a pass ball, or defensive indifference or obstruction. Okay, so because there were no official rules for earned runs in 1880, and the rules from 1883 on during the 19th century were variable, they changed, and they were somewhat chaotic. We're going to use the current rules, the 2025 rules, to determine the earned run average for Tim Keefe in 1880. Okay, with that introduction, now let's get to some earned runs. The next chart, please. This in 1880, Tim Keefe, it was his debut year with Troy in the National League. He appeared in 12 games, pitched in 12 games, all complete games, and he had 105 innings. Since Troy played 83 games in 1880, Tim Keefe's innings pitched being greater than 83 means that he qualifies retroactively for the earned run average title, using the current rules for determining earned run average leaders. As can be seen here, Tim Keefe gave up a total of 27 runs. 9 were earned according to the box scores in the newspapers of the city where the game was played. So the sports writers who covered the games in the city where it was played are the ones who created the box scores for their newspapers, and those are the earned runs that are shown here. So there were 9, and there were 18 unearned runs. So if you take 9 earned runs, and the next chart shows what that yields in terms of earned run average, 9 earned runs yields an earned run average of 0.77, which is about 10% less than the 0.86 that the legendary researcher John Tattersall came up with. And to get 0.86 with 105 innings, you need 10 earned runs, and so that's what he chose, 10 earned runs. That's what's given in Big Mac. So where's the difference between our box score earned runs and Tattersall's box score earned runs? The next chart shows where that difference is. In fact, there's only one game where there's a difference, and it's surprising. For our research, we used 3 Cleveland newspapers for this game on August 17th in Cleveland: the Cleveland Leader, the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and the Cleveland Evening Post, and they all had 3 earned runs. John Tattersall's box score, which is his box score collection, is at the Hall of Fame Library, and you go through, and for the August 17th game, he used the Boston Herald, which shows 2 earned runs, not 3. So that gives a total of 8 earned runs according to the Tattersall box score collection. And what 8 earned runs does is give you a different earned run average, which is shown on the next chart, 0.69. So it's 20% less than the 0.86. So what's going on here? Well, clearly Tattersall chose to change or to use a different number than he had in his box score collection. So let's summarize this, and the next chart does that. Keefe gave up a total of 27 runs. And if you go through all the box scores and all the play-by-plays and the counts in the newspapers, there are 17 runs that are definitely not earned. There's no question they're not earned. And there are also 7 runs that are definitely earned. There's no question about that. And that what's left are 3 runs that maybe earned or maybe not earned. And depending on whether they're earned or not earned, you can have an earned run average of 0.69, 0.77, or 0.86, the one that's currently shown on the MLB website. Let's take a look at those at the 3 runs that could be earned or unearned. The next chart shows there's 2 games for that. There's an August 10th game in Buffalo where the second inning run scored by Horning could be either earned or unearned, and we'll get into the details of that in a moment. And then the other game, for the other 2 runs, is that August 17th game in Cleveland. The 2 fourth inning runs, one scored by Hodling and one scored by Phillips, could be either earned or unearned. And we're going to deal with that after we take care of the August 10th game. Okay, August 10th. Let's look at the next chart. And that has the play-by-play as recorded in the Buffalo Courier for the second inning. Quote, in the second inning, Horning led off with a hit, stole second, and was advanced to third by Fulmer's out. A wild pitch allowed him to score. I want to have a note. I have a note here. It was not mentioned what Easterbrook did. Easterbrook batted immediately after Horning and immediately before Fulmer. And all we can say right now is Easterbrook was presumably retired. Okay, we have another account that's on the next slide. That's from the Buffalo commercial, and it reads, quote, Horning secured the first run for his side on a hit, a wild throw by the catcher Holbert, Fulmer's out, and a wild pitch. And another important note here, while the play-by-play text states, quote, a wild throw by the catcher, Horning received credit for a stolen base since the wild throw did not allow him to take an extra base. There was no error on the play. So is the run earned or unearned? To determine that, we have to reconstruct the inning without the misplays. And let's look at the box score, the newspaper box score first. On the next slide, please. And if you look on the right portion of the box score, you'll notice on the fifth line for the Buffaloes, it says runs made, and then there's runs earned, and it's by innings. So as you see, it's 0 earned for the box score. It shows 0 earned runs for the for Buffalo in this game. Okay, now we're gonna look at the specifics of this game by doing a score sheet here. So the next chart shows a score sheet. What is shown in blue is what we know from the play-by-play account given in the commercial and the Courier. So Horning singled, advanced to second on a stolen base. Easterbrook presumably was out. Fulmer made an out, and he advanced, which allowed Horning to advance one more base, and he scored on a wild pitch. Now, we don't know what happened to the next batters, Force, Galvin, Latham, and Crowley, but we do know it's in the account that Richardson led off the fourth inning with a double. So there are 4 batters between Fulmer, whom we know made an out, and Richardson, who made a double, and there's an inning and a third that needs to be accounted for. So that means that though each of those batters was retired, either directly from the batter's box or on the base path. And when you back that into the third inning, into the second inning, and in the third inning, all four of those batters had to be retired. And so then we go to the next chart, which puts us in the order here. So Force was retired for the third out in the second inning, and then Galvin, Latham, and Crowley were retired in order, either directly from the batter's box or indirectly on the base path to complete the third inning. One other very important point is that in the box scores for the game, Force is shown to have had 4 at-bats and no hits. So Force was retired directly from the batter's box for the third out in that second inning. And we know that the 3 batters in the first inning were also retired. These are deduced, but they're on solid ground. Okay, so now let's go. We've got this. Now let's go and take the error or the misplay away. The next chart does this. And we see that Horning singled. He went to second on a stolen base. Easterbrook was retired. Fulmer's out, put him on third base, and Forces out into the inning. So he would not have scored, but he did score. Is the run earned or not earned? Anybody want to guess? Say anything? I guess not. Okay. The next chart shows the result. It's earned. The wild pitch does not absolve the pitcher from the run being earned. It's an earned run. The pitcher threw the wild pitch, and which the runner benefited from that. The run is earned. Okay, let's move on to the August 17th game now. This is the play-by-play in the Cleveland Evening Post. Quote, Hodling made a good base hit to right and took second on a pass ball. The next batter, Hanlon, walked. The next batter, Phillips, hit for a safe base to left field, and Gillespie, the left fielder, kindly let it go by him for an error, so that Hodling got home, Hanlon to third, and Phillips to second. Kennedy, the next batter, hit to the third baseman Connor, and Hanlon was put out trying to get home, Kennedy going to first, and Phillips to third. The next batter, Glasscock, followed with a rattling 2-base hit to left field, sending Phillips home. Kennedy also tried to get home. He was on first base on the hit, but he was caught at the plate for the second out. Glasscock improving the opportunity, nice wording there, to slip to third, where he was left by McCormick, flying out for the third out. So this is the play-by-play in the Cleveland Evening Post. The play-by-play descriptions in the Cleveland Leader and the Cleveland Plain Dealer are very similar to this. So let's go right away to the box score in the newspaper to see what it looks like. And you'll notice that, let's see, where is it here? Oh, at the very top on the right, it says earned runs. Cleveland had 3 and Troy 1. This is from the Cleveland Evening Post box score. Okay, so now we know this. Let's go to we'll score it, retroactively score it. So in the fourth inning, Hodling led off with a single, went to second on the pass ball. Hanlon walked, runners on first and second. Phillips hit a single to left field. The left fielder made an error, which allowed Phillips to move to second, Hanlon to third, and Hodling to score. Kennedy then hit into a fielder's choice. Not a force out, safe on a fielder's choice, and Hanlon was put out at home plate, and then Glasscock hit a double, which knocked in Phillips, who was on second base as a result of the error. Kennedy also tried to score on that play, but he was put out at the plate. And then for the third out, McCormick was retired on a fly ball. So we have everything there. There's no need for any deductions here. Let's take away the errors, the misplays. That goes on the next chart. Oh, not that one. Back up one, please. There we go. So Hodling singles, Hanlon walks, Phillips singles, bases loaded, nobody out. Kennedy hits into a fielder's choice force out. Hodling is retired at the plate. Glasscock, the next batter, with the bases still loaded, Kennedy on first. Glasscock hits a double, knocking in Hanlon and Phillips. And then Kennedy is retired at the plate, trying to go all the way from first to home. And McCormick is retired for the third out. So, are the 2 runs in the 4th inning via this reconstruction earned or not earned? Well, you've already seen the chart, so we'll go to the next chart, and you can see they're both earned. The error that the left fielder made did not, when removed, did not cause the run to be scored. So the actual run score was Hoteling, who scored while the error was committed. But Hanlon, when you reconstruct it, Hanlon would have scored without it being earned, and Phillips's run was earned regardless. Okay, so both of these runs were earned. Now let's go on to the next chart, and we'll summarize here. So Horning's run is earned. Horning's run is earned, and both Hoteling's and Phillips' runs are earned. So we got those 3 runs that we didn't know which way to go. They're all earned, and now they go to the next chart for the results, the final results. Total runs 27, runs not earned 17, runs earned is 10. Therefore, Tim Keefe did achieve an earned run average of 0.86 in 1880. And where does that ERA rank? The next chart shows it ranks first among the top 6 in the major leagues, AL and NL, according to Retro Sheet this year. So Keefe's 0.86 ERA is the lowest qualifying ERA in National League history. Qualifying meaning that it has he pitched at least 1 inning for game played by his team, and it is the lowest qualifying earned run average in Major League history. So that's the answers. Let's go back to our next chart, please. Our title slide. A still standing single season pitching record, yes or no? And the next chart shows it is a resounding yes. Okay, I think that's it. So I know those backed up that you can don't leave it, go back, but yes, leave it there. So I will thank you all for attending, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or take any comments.
If you have a question for our presenter tonight, Herm Krabbenhoft, go down to the bottom of the screen and hit the react button. Once you see that, you'll see another button marked raise hand. Raise your hand and we can get you in line to ask some questions of Herm tonight. First up, buckle up, everybody. It's Joe Ross. Joe, how you doing?
Okay, thank you.
Go.
Herm, nice presentation. I love it.
Thank you.
Very, very well. However, the one thing you didn't tell us is how many innings do you need to pitch for it to be qualifying?
You need in 1880. Troy played 83 games. He needed 83 innings pitched. He had 105, so he more than qualified.
I'm not worried about Keefe. Keefe had 105. That's fine, but in 1944, Robert Keyes had an average of only 6.64, which beats Keefe, no matter which way you figure Keefe.
Okay.
But he only pitched 28 innings.
Right. I have that on a chart. So let me go back to my charts, and I'll have that in there like an appendix.
Okay, because the next one, of course, was Roy Parnell.
I have them all.
0.83.
Okay, so let's
54 innings.
Yeah, if you can I'll go ahead. One more. Stop. Oh, go back. There you go, right there. So yes, we are fully aware of Robert Keyes and Roy Parnell, also Slim Jones. Those are from the Negro American League for Robert Keyes, the Negro Southern League for Roy Parnell, and the innings pitched. are greater than the games played by their teams. Cliff Blau, myself, and Gary Stone, we're not comfortable even though this is on Baseball Reference, not on Retro Sheet, and it's not on MLB.com either. We're not comfortable saying that Keys is the leader, the new leader. We're not comfortable with it. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion on it, and if you want to have it, that's fine. But we're not.
Well, what is today's rule for?
Today's rule says innings pitched must be greater than the number of games played by the team. And so, according to today's rules, Robert Keys has a 0.64 qualifying ERA for the Negro American League. Likewise, for Roy Parnell for the Negro Southern League, has a qualifying earned run average of 0.83. I'm not going to dispute the accuracy of those numbers, but I'm not comfortable. Neither is Cliff Blau independently, and Gary Stone comfortable with declaring that Keys has the record for the lowest ERA, or Parnell does. So you or anybody else is entitled to their opinion, but we don't agree with that. we don't subscribe to that. So that's just that's just.
Are each of those leagues recognized either by SABR or Major League Baseball as being major league caliber? I forget. Do we know the answer to that question?
What was the question?
My question is the Negro American League, Negro National League, and the NSL. Were those three leagues each deemed to be major league quality by either Major League Baseball or SABR? I forget.
Yes, they were.
They were. Okay.
Well, the problem I would then have, if you're counting them as being major league caliber, and we're saying that we've incorporated the major league statistics from the Negro leagues into the overall statistics of Major League Baseball, which is what they've been saying. You can't have it both ways, but you're trying to.
No, I'm saying that the three of us, Cliff Blau, myself, and Gary Stone, we say that Keefe has the major league record with 0.86, and now if that's, or we'll say that it's, that's what we're saying, and other people can disagree with that. That's their business. That's their prerogative.
Okay, because Major League Baseball obviously disagrees with that. They're the ones
when I checked the MLB website, I didn't see it.
Well, if you look at
if you look on on Baseball Reference, you'll see it. Yes.
That's
Baseball Reference, but that's not MLB. That's Baseball Reference.
Well, let me try MLB. Hang on.
Yeah. Well,
be
maybe you'll find it. I did not. I was unable to find it. But
Alex stays in the chat, says the number of games matters even if it's official. And that's a very good comment. Alec, could you unmute and kind of expand on that for a little bit? Because I would like to hear your thoughts.
Well, it's a matter of, I guess I would say statistical significance at some level, and like 28, 27, 28 games is just not the same, in my view. 27 versus 83, it's not really comparable, in my view. Even if that's
also my opinion, is that we need to have a threshold for statistical acceptance, for lack of better. There's got to be a baseline somewhere. And Alec does make a good point. Joe, did you find anything on Major League Baseball's website yet?
Hang on, I'm still looking.
Joe is furiously looking that up.
An interesting thing. So when Major League Baseball decided to include the stats of the Negro Leagues, one of the things that it did is so a player who hit a home run in his first at bat was Bankhead for the Dodgers. Well, he played because that was with the National League when he came up with the Dodgers, but he also had played in the Negro Leagues before that, and he did not hit a home run in his first at bat. But yet, they want to keep it as he did have a home run in his first at bat. You can't have it both ways. So he either did or did not. If you want to say that that was the major leagues, then he did not hit a home run in his first at bat. There are other examples of this, and I submitted this to SABR. It was not accepted. Another person has submitted stuff on Jim Gilliam being the Rookie of the Year in '53, and but he played in the Negro Leagues and had lost he was no longer a rookie if you count his Negro League games. He was no longer a rookie in 1953 in the National League. So should you take away the Gilliam's Rookie of the Year award and maybe give it to somebody else who was a bona fide rookie, not counting Negro League stats? So it gets to be a messy can of worms.
We had this conversation about statistical anomalies last time you and I and Dixie had lunch, and you could spend countless research hours trying to balance the historic canon and probably still not be done with it. And Lord only knows if you could actually even do it. Now, I just finally hit Baseball Reference. Their records show Keyes, Parnell, Keefe, Blair, Leonard, Mordecai Brown as the top 6 seasons with lowest ERA. So that's their opinion. But we now also have the issue of statistical anomaly in terms of, what is statistically relevant in terms of innings pitched, because out of the top 3, Keefe in 1880 had what appears to be 105 innings pitched, and that is more than 1 and 2 combined.
Right.
Ryan Seminitz in the chat, didn't MLB acknowledge that Negro League statistics are about 75% accurate when they decided to include them? That's a very good question. Does anybody know the answer to that, Herm? Do you know the answer to that?
I don't know the answer to that. I do not.
I do not know the answer to that. SABR worked with Major League Baseball on that research, if I recall correctly. Did a ton of work on that. Alec in the chat, true relevance equals ERA league average times less league average times innings. Is that correct? Did I read that correctly, Alec?
Yeah.
So you're taking the ERA less the league average and multiply it by innings. So that's his
That's
idea
one view. I mean, it's like runs saved.
Yeah.
It's like how much runs are you better than other people?
Mm-hmm.
As I said in the chat, I think is this is great, but like 1883 was when he pitched. For people that think 105 innings isn't enough, he pitched 68 games and 600 innings, I think, in 83.
I've got him up on the screen here. In 83, he pitched 68 games and 619 innings. In 86, he pitched 64 games and 535 innings. I'm so wonder he lived with 2 arms for the rest of his life. Can you imagine? These discussions are always fascinating because, and I think Herman, Dixie, and I agreed at the last time we had lunch that you're never going to be able to balance the historic canon completely, silence critics, stop debate, or frankly, stop the arguments over the historic record of Major League Baseball. It's never really going to be perfect.
That's why this is fun.
Right? These things are so cool to get into because it gives you another point of view that you may or may not have thought of, and frankly, it's another point of view that you can throw into the mix and really have those great conversations about. Dixie Tarango's got a comment. Go, Dix.
Okay, what bothers me about this is that you've got Robert Keys here when his team apparently played 27 games and he pitched 28 innings, which is one more inning than games. And the other guy has 52 and 54. Okay, that's fine. But I'm sure that somewhere, someone's got to find somebody who pitched 9 games in 10 innings who probably didn't allow any runs. So where's that guy? There's got to be one out there somewhere.
I have. I can give you some insight on that. If we can go back a slide or two, I can. I have a list of players with. One, go back some more. Let's see. Where are we here? No, go back, not forward. Go back, please. If we can go back, please. Back. There, stop. There we go. Well, now go forward one. There we go. So these are sub-1 ERAs with greater than 60 innings pitched. And well, there's the list there. Zach Britton had a 0.54 and 67 innings pitched. And like Dixie said, you could take someone who broke in with Carl Spooner had a couple shutouts in his first 2 games, I think. So he'd have maybe a 0 year or whatever it was, maybe 1 earned run in 18 innings. So yeah, so there are a number of players here with less than 1 ERA and greater than 60 innings pitched.
Ryan McClanahan in the chat, a bit of a different question here, maybe related to official stats. Ernie Banks' 1954 Topps card states that he played in the Negro National League, yet I can't find anything about it in Baseball Reference. Who's correct? He's right. Baseball Reference has nothing to show that Banks played in the Negro National League, and I do not recall anybody discussing that when we had the initial Negro Leagues are now major leagues discussion a few years ago. Ryan, go.
Yeah, so this is his rookie card, and on the back of it, it says that he played in the Negro National League and he was the top batter. So, I guess maybe my question is like, does is everything? Can you trust everything that is going on Baseball Reference? Like, are they missing anything from like the 19th century, if that makes any sense? Is because we don't have, I don't think we have all the statistics from like the 19th century, even if we don't. I mean,
that's correct.
Obviously we don't. They're saying that he was in the Negro National League, and I can't find anything about that. So, I don't know.
That is exactly why the Negro Leagues Research Committee and the 19th Century Research Committee exists, is to uncover these things, just like what you said, Ryan, or Negro League stats that have been seemingly lost to time, the mists of time and such. Our friend of our chapter, friend of mine and Molly's, as a matter of fact, Alan Cohen, is a dogged Negro League researcher who he's taking a focus into Josh Gibson right now, if I recall correctly. But there are so many people who are looking into this. I can only imagine that at some point in our lifetime, and maybe in the near future, we're going to uncover a treasure trove of numbers that are going to expand the historic canon of Major League Baseball. Alex Stace, go.
Yeah, I think that I Googled it. I think he signed and he didn't play. That's what I think happened.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
That explains it. I mean, if he played, we would know, right?
Let me add. I don't know if this pertains to Ernie Banks, but the cutoff for Negro League stats being included in the MLB, I think it's what 1948 was the last year, maybe 49. And if Banks played in the Negro Leagues in 1950 or 51, those stats would not be included in the major leagues. And I don't know the exact year, but I know there are some years where it did not count, and it may have also affected Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. But I can't give you any specifics, but that's what's in the back of my mind.
That's correct. The 7 leagues recognized are the Negro National League that ended in 31, the Eastern Color League that folded in 28, the American Negro League in 29, the East-West League in 32, the Negro Southern League in 32, the Negro National League 2 from 33 to 48, and finally the Negro American League from 37 to 48. So Herm's right on that. Dixie, go.
Wouldn't that kind of information be in a Banks biography?
You would think, yeah.
I got a couple of Banks biographies. I don't know if that information's in them, but I would assume that if somebody took the time to write a biography, that all of this kind of thing would be in it. Where did he play and when?
Yeah. Well, and the top's 54 back. That's, that was back in 54. That's 70 some odd years ago. So long before the Negro Leagues were recognized as Major League through 48.
And I mean, honestly, there are biographies out there that are great. The DiMaggio biography. And then there are biographies out there that are horrid, like the first Ty Cobb biography. So, yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Dixie, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Your hand's still up. Herm, you had a little bit more about pitcher cycles. Do you want to get into that real quick?
If anybody, if there's interest, yeah, but we're about an hour now. But if there's interest, I'll go through it quickly. If not, that's okay too.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we have you back at some point in the upcoming weeks? Ryan McClanahan has also already put his stamp of approval on that, and frankly, because he's wearing a Caldor shirt tonight, I mean that goes for all of us. I think when I say we want to bring you back for the pitcher cycle,
I got to listen to that again.
Yes, you're gonna have to listen to it again, and there's more information in it. He talked about this a while ago.
Well, no, what I would do, and what I have here is an update for the 2025 season. It's just a quickie thing for that. It's not. I'm not. Gonna, right. It's not a. You can't do a whole presentation on 2025, but you can do a.
It's the running
step
total.
Aside. Go. Let's do it.
All right. All right. We'll zip through it quickly. Keep going. All right.
Bonus baseball.
All right. Quick. So really quickly, the batter's primary objective is to get on base. The pitcher's primary objective is to retire the batter. The next chart. The batter can get on base entirely by himself by getting a hit. The pitcher can retire the batter entirely by himself by striking the batter out. And the next chart gives us the definition of a batter's cycle. The series of at least one of each type of hit, a single, double, triple, and home run, not necessarily in order, hit by a player in the same game. And the pitcher cycle, the series of at least one player from each of the 9 recurring batting slots, not necessarily in order, struck out by one pitcher in the same game. Okay, so that's the definition of a pitcher cycle. The features: 9 different batters are struck out. The batters struck out give a complete set of batting positions, and there's no limit to the number of innings it takes a player to achieve a pitcher cycle. And prior to 2025, there were 497 pitcher cycles by 282 batters or players, 320 batter cycles by 283 players. The numbers are comparable. They're in the same ballpark, same order of magnitude. And the next charts, in 2024, there were 14 pitcher cycles. Joe Ryan, Sonny Gray, Nick Lodolo, Taj Bradley, Tyler Glasnow, Pablo Lopez. Bradley got a second one. The next chart gets the other 7, which is Tarek Skubal, Hunter Green, Nathan Eovaldi, Michael King, Nick Pivetta, Bryce Miller, and Zach Gallen. So there were 14 in 2024. And now the next chart gives you the number in 2025. There were 7. Mackenzie Gore got the first one for the Washington Nationals opening day this year. Tyler McGill got one for the Mets a little bit later. Hunter Green, who had one in 2024, got a second one in his career in 2025. George Kirby got 2 this year. And Tarek Skubal got his second one. He got 1 this year and 1 last year. So those are the 6 pitchers, only 6 this year. Instead of in the previous years, there have been 14, as many as 20. So there was a decline in the number of pitcher cycles this year. And if you noticed for 2024 and 2025, the most that most pitcher cycles that we've seen are 2 on these 3 charts. And the next chart just gives you a quick summary of what we are. Randy Johnson has the most in history, 21. Ryan's got 12. Chris Sale and Max Scherzer, they're active with 10 and 9 respectively. Pedro's got 8. Jacob deGrom also active yet with Texas. He has 8. Steve Carlton, 7. Roger Clemens, 6. The next chart gives you those was 5. Koufax, Seaver, Schilling, Smoltz, Fernandez. Verlander's still pitching, hanging on. He has 5. There's some players listed at the bottom. They all have either 4 or 3. They did not add to their totals this year. And then there's another chart which has players from the earlier days with 4 or less: Sam Jones, Christy Mathewson, Van Mungo, Bob Feller, Hal Newhouser. And then the last chart has players with 2 from the very early days: Rube Waddell, Walter Johnson, Dazzy Vance, Johnny Allen, Johnny Vandermeer, Dave Hillman, more recent, also with 2. And that's it. So that's it for the pitcher cycles for this year. There were 6 of them. George Kirby had 2, and just missed the 3rd one on his last start. He got 8 of the batting slots, but not 9th. So, and that's it.
So Alec has deemed Herm the Saber Otani doing double duty here tonight. So that's high praise right there, Herm.
Thanks. Otani, by the way, is the only major leaguer who has he had 2 pitcher cycles with the Angels and 1 batter cycle with the Angels. So he's got a batter. He's got 1 batter cycle and 2 pitcher cycles, and we'll see what he does next year when he's a full-time pitcher and a full-time batter again. So maybe he'll.
And how did I know he was going to be
out in the same game? That'd be something.
That's fantastic. This has been good stuff. This has been a great meeting. But next week, Monday, September 29th, we're going to have another good one. Sabre member Dennis Snelling will be with us to discuss his book, The Whiz Kids, How the 1950 Phillies Took the Pennant, Lost the World Series, and Changed Philadelphia Baseball Forever. The sign-up link is available in the chapter meeting booklet and at the Sabre events calendar. Alec, go.
You're never wrong, but today is September 29th, and next week is October 6th.
So once again, Joe got me a couple of weeks ago. Alec got me this week. Apparently, I can't read a calendar. So, yeah, you know what? So I'm going to get fired before this is over. I mean, really. Join us next week, Monday, October 6th for Dennis. Okay?
You're the cat.
But we're going to have Gus host the meeting next week. I got to get out of here. Finally, if you're a baseball fan watching on YouTube and you like what you see, please like this video and subscribe to our channel to be alerted to each of our weekly uploads. And if you're not yet a member, you need to join the Society for American Baseball Research, the premier baseball community, offering an amazing baseball buffet of options to explore your fandom. SABR boasts more than 35 different research committees, over 80 regional chapters, and innumerable opportunities to connect with baseball minds across the world, just like Herm. For more information, go to SABR.org today. Next week, Monday, October 6th, we're going to be back. Herm, you're fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bruce.
Appreciate you, Alex, for correcting me. Let's get everybody out of here, and we'll see everybody next week. Have a great night,
Thanks.
folks.
Bye now.